Hey, 1 minute.
Okay.
Check. Okay, good morning everyone. Magandang umaga sa lahat. At kung nasan man kayo sa mundo ngayon, nanonood sa ating Meet the Press kasama ang bagong kuponan dito sa Philippine Football League at ito ang Maharlika FC. And first and foremost, my name is Ernest Hernandez and you are streaming on Sports on Air. You can share it on your Facebook pages and everything. And without further ado, I'll introduce the people that behind Maharika FC. First and foremost, the general manager of Maharika FC, Choi Kalunsod. Choi, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, Ernest. Thank you. Yes, good morning, guys. Welcome to Maharlika FC.
And head coach of Maharlika FC, and siya mamamahala sa ating mga football player sa darating na taon. Coach Roxy Dorlas. Hello, Coach.
Good morning, Ernest. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here and watching us. Thank you for supporting Maharlika.
Okay, and finally, the founder, the person behind everything, Anton Del Rosario. How are you, Anton?
What's up, Ernest? Thank you very much for having us. And big shout out to everybody that's here. Thank you all for supporting us, for supporting football and what we're trying to do.
And of course, right now, Anton, pag-usapan natin, how did this come? Because all of a sudden, there's a team that came out, Maharlika FC, and people want to know the origin story. Maybe Choi can fill this up. General Manager Choi?
Yes. I know, alam ko, no, sir, maraming nagulat. A lot were surprised. Suddenly, we had this team in the middle of a pandemic. So it all started with Anton giving me a call, telling me that he's putting up a team. Hopefully, we can join the ranks of the teams in PFL. And so we did. So we connected, we strategized, and we slowly build the team. No? So kinausap namin yung nagbuo muna kami ng team internally. Sino yung mga pwedeng tumulong sa marketing and other stuff that we need to make sure that we comply with the requirements of the league and requirements ng PFF. From there, we were able to slowly build the team. Anton invited ex-Ascals, some of the pros. He approached his friends, and of course, on kung ano yung gusto namin, kung ano yung mga beliefs namin for Philippine football as well. And slowly, dahan-dahan nabuo namin. Of course, to have a team, kailangan din namin ng coach. We look for qualified coaches, no. And of course, we have now Coach Roxy Dorlas and his staff coaching us. So doon nagsimula yun, no. Anton initiated everything. Syempre, with the pandemic, hindi rin pwede gumalaw yung mga ibang athletes. Only the professional sports leagues are allowed to play. So it was also an advantage for us, no. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give the mic now to Anton. Anton, Choi said that you just called people up. And is it a shower room moment like, hey, I want to start a team right now? I mean, tell us that backstory on how you came up with Maharika FC.
No, well, I mean, over the last year, let's say, me and the commissioner of the PFL have been, throwing ideas back and forth. We talk often with Coco Torre, yeah, and I always wanted to put in a team in the PFL because I wanted to actually create a team out of the sevens to be able to compete with the other players, right, who are playing professionally. Because I felt that the players in my sevens football league were strong enough to play in the PFL, given the opportunity. So when it came about the issue with global and them and FIFA and them not being able to continue, that left the league in a dilemma because they only had 5 teams. So Coco and I we made that phone call. I said I'd be able to put in a team, no problem. We went for a golf match, and then next thing I know, I'm making phone calls right after the golf match, and we were able to secure. What are we at? We have 24 signed players, 25 signed players. Right now, where we're doing a trial run, or we're having open tryouts. So we have about 30 other players wanting to play. It all sprouted from opportunity and the love of football. I look at this as an opportunity for all of our players to prove something.
Sorry po na putol. But anyway.
Sorry.
Anyway, continue, Anton. Hello.
Oh, yeah. No. Well, I look at this as an opportunity for all of us. Everybody who's playing for Maharlika FC is playing for free. We're looking for sustainability, so we're looking at the future of the club. So I didn't want to come out and offer wages that I couldn't afford. So I made it very clear and transparent that you guys, the players on the team, and anybody a part of it, is here for the love and the passion of the sport, and that means a lot to me because it shows that they're here for more than just wanting to get paid. It shows that they care about the sport, they love the sport, they want to prove something. And it's always nice when you have a player that wants to prove something because they sort of play with a chip on their shoulder and want to make sure that they show themselves out on that field so they could either, use our team to get to the next level, use our team to be able to promote themselves, use our team to stay in shape. And this is really what I want to get out of these players who are joining Maharlika FC.
Okay, thank you, Anton. And of course, I think we want to know as well the selection of Coach Roxy Dorlas. Who of you guys can tell us why Coach Roxy? Of all the coaches out there, why Coach Roxy?
Can I come in and say, number one, Roxy, I've played many years with Roxy. Roxy's always been one of the best teammates. He's never had an issue with any of the players. He's very understanding. He holds an A license, or he's almost there. And his experience on the field and his relationships with the players, I believe he can be a great, great coach given the chance. And I think this opportunity for Roxy to prove himself at the PFL level at such a young age will be able to be his, his entry point to being a professional coach, because I'm sure from here on out, we're going to want to keep him at Maharlika FC, and hopefully nobody else tries to take him from us.
And now we have to hear it from Coach Roxy. Coach Roxy, kamusta? Good morning. And give us yung mga initial statement mo regarding yun nga, siguro the time that Anton called you up and offered you to coach a team like Maharlika FC, and can you tell us about that story?
Yeah, of course. Well, Ernest, it started with a simple message coming from Anton asking me if I can take a call, and I had no idea what it's going to be about. Um, I responded to him. We had a good conversation, explaining to us what he wanted to do, what he wanted to start doing, and how he wanted me to be involved. And I only had a very simple question, and which was what does he envision for the club? What are his aims? Because of course it has to be aligned also um, with 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 my personal goal as well. And he made it very clear. He made it very clear to me. He said that he wants to be he wants Maharlika FC to be the best and biggest club in the Philippines, aiming for that AFC slot. But of course, priority as well would be creating that biggest fan base um, with with um, with the support of the Filipino fans. Okay, being that people's club, um, we have to grow the Philippine football community, and I really support that. I think that right now with only 6 teams in the professional league, okay, I think it's the right step right now for Maharlika to come in. Okay, I um, I asked Anton for the roster. He mentioned some names, and we can be a very competitive team. Um, of course, the challenges there would be the team chemistry. Okay, so having some experienced players and getting some young players, building that team within a very short time, preparing for our first game is going to be a difficult challenge. But so the atmosphere in among the players, because we had our first session yesterday, and the atmosphere was very good. I mean, everyone was just happy to be back
Yeah.
to after 6 months, and no, it was very good to see them. I was able to ask them as well after the training session um, on of course on the opportunity, reminding them of the opportunity that is given to us by the management, by Anton, and you can see that their commitment is 100%. Okay, and you can really see Maharlika FC team being competitive.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach, and very interesting story there. And now I leave the questions to the media. First question here, we have from Anthony Santay. Anthony, good morning. Magandang umaga sa'yo.
Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Well, I wanted to just ask because it was made clear by Anton about the fact that obviously everybody joining is joining for the love of football. So, do I get it right that it's the players and also the coaches, Anton? Everybody has no compensation?
When it comes down to it, I think we are paying everybody 1 peso.
Okay, so very minimal compensation.
Yes, well, I mean, when it comes down to it, Anthony, our league, our football league here in the country, it's had a rough, well, I wouldn't say a rough, it's had a roller coaster the last 10 years, right? We started out very
Right.
strong, especially after the ASCALs, but then, we saw a huge dip in the sport with the popularity and stuff like that. So I believe, in order to make teams sustainable again, and we don't have teams like Global coming in promising these wages and not being able to pay, we need to break it down and sort of find out why people want to play. And we have to take away the money part of it, and we have to start building communities within the teams. There's a community of the sport which needs to come together and voice out as one. And that's something that needs to be done via the PFL, right? Because the
Correct.
PFL should be the loudest voice of football here in the country. So when it comes down to it, they're the ones who should gather all of the football community to speak as one. But for each of our teams, I believe we have to create our own communities to be able to support each of our teams. And that's something that hasn't happened with many of the teams, it's almost like they forgot about their fans, their supporters, and they focused on the competition of having the best team and having the best players and offering the most money. And I believe that sort of took away from from the love of the game.
Correct.
Being a professional and having had to play the last 10 years, I got to say, there were times when football actually turned into work, and at that point as an athlete, that's when you got to think about, hey, is this really the avenue I want to go down as a professional player? Do I want to just look at this as work, or do I want to stay in love with this and want to play and go out on the field every day and just go kick a ball with some friends? And I believe that's the mentality of our team right now. All of us guys on our team, we're all friends. We've all played either with each other or against each other. We all know the state of football here in the country, and we all pretty much share the same vision. We all know that football can be a huge sport here. We know that we have the talent here. We know that we have the support here, but we just got to dumb it down sometimes and start from scratch. And this is where our team is. So just like any other team should be, start from scratch, look for people with the same vision, look for people with the same attitude, look for people with the same passion, and make it happen. Go out there, compete, prove that you have a team that can compete with the other teams, and grow your fan base. And that's what we're looking to do. So we're going to pay a lot of attention to our 12th man when it comes down to Maharlika FC.
That's a very good program, Anton. Just one final question. In terms of the incidental expenses, obviously, that you're going to be having, uniforms, if you might have to travel and all that stuff, you will be counting on possibly sponsors coming in for that?
Well, we hope so. I mean, I put a little bit away that I could accommodate for the team. So, I mean, when it comes down to all of that stuff, all the general stuff, I put my hand up and I'm saying, I'll take care of that stuff. But when it comes down to salaries for players and stuff, outrageous things, I wouldn't say outrageous, but for now, I can't commit to that, and I make it very transparent from the start. And I think that's one of the things that the players appreciate as well. So hopefully,
you got a great formula. All the best, buddy.
Yeah, fingers crossed. After we grow this support base and after we grow our team and show that we can compete, I hope that sponsors will come in, and at that time, that's when I'll be able to compensate the players.
Very well said, and hopefully that formula is taken on by a lot of other players or other entities or that may want to be able to just grow the game of football here.
Yes, I hope so too. Sorry, Anthony, just touching on that real quick. That is, what you just said is sort of what we want to also do. We want to sort of show that we can be an example of what can be done with football, because there are a lot of players out there that want to get this opportunity. So, I mean, when it comes down to creating a team, players are the number one thing. So seeing that we have, I guess, 25, 30 plus trialists right now shows that there is a lot of players out there that want to be able to have this opportunity to play at the top level.
More power, buddy.
Cheers, man.
Okay, thank you very much, Anthony, for those questions. We now lead on to Brian Yalong, who is from ABS-CBN News. Brian, you have some questions for Anton? We call him the Godfather. Brian, you're on.
Good morning. Anyway, Hey, bro. Anton, I just wanted to ask, why Maharlika FC? Where did you get the name for? Where did you get this name from? How do you derive it?
Good morning, Brian. Good friend. Miss you.
Yep.
Thank you very much for your question. Maharlika FC, right? Well, coming from the Bay Area, of course, Golden State Warriors was always one of my favorite teams growing up, and I've always liked Warrior. Warrior has always stuck with me because I guess it's the attitude that I sort of envision myself as a player on the field. When it comes down to it, we're fighting for something here, and it's much bigger than just on the field. We're fighting for the growth of the sport, which has sort of been stagnant in the last few years. We're fighting for, I guess, the sustainability of the sport. We're fighting for the youth. We're fighting for the grassroots. We're fighting for football, okay? And when it comes down to fighting for football, we've had battles where we've won and we've lost. And I think we are warriors. Everybody from the people who step onto the field to the general manager to Denise, who handles communications. All of us are warriors trying to fight this battle of getting football to be where I believe it deserves to be, which is to be one of the top sports here in the country. And that's what warriors do. Warriors fight. So to take it back closer to Filipino roots, we looked up, what warriors were back in the day here, and we came up with Maharlika FC.
All right. So this I haven't seen yet, Anton. Who are the players? And I want to know who the players are. We haven't heard anything about that yet.
Well, we're slowly releasing the players, but some of the signings, my marketing guy will kill me here if I announce all of the players, but let me just come out and say we have from ex-Ascals signed, we have David Basa, Jerry Barbaso, Misag Bahadoran, Eddie Malyari. Still in talks with Simon Greatwich. Hopefully I could kick him in the butt a little bit to come join our team. And then when it comes down to Ali Borromeo has been talking to me about wanting to come join our team too. So he's very back and forth with it. Fingers crossed he says yes as well. But when it comes down to the professionals, we have Waco Cañas, who came here from Spain in 2012, 2013, found himself still out here, and he's committed to play. Serge Caule. Who else from the professionals do we have? Choi? I think Jeremy Thoyer's there.
Jeremy, yeah. The others we can't announce yet. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Brian, as much as I want to tell you everybody on the lineup, let me just keep it general, where we have, I guess, ex-Ascals, professionals, people who played recently in the last season. We have a celebrity like Dan Matsunaga who joined us, and I could announce him since we released him. But one of my favorite things is that in our roster, we've actually included 3 youth roster spots. So we have 3 players of the age of, I believe, 2 are 16 and 1 is 17, Choi?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yes, 2 16-year-olds.
Grade 12, grade 10, grade 12, around that age.
Yes. So the reason why we've taken on youth players is because we want to be an example of looking towards the future. Like I said, sustainability is very key for our club. And this is why we brought in these youngsters. So then they could learn from ex-Ascals, they could learn from professionals, and hopefully it will speed up, their talent level. You know, with them getting the experience from these players, I believe it will expedite their pathway to being a star player. And then what helps out, where I see it, I see that these players now get to talk, discuss with their peers, and sort of motivate and inspire their peers to be able to come join the PFL as well. You know, a big hesitation for these youth players is UAAP, right? Because in the rules of UAAP, you're not allowed to. You have to either play pro or play college, and I'm very happy with these three players because they've shown that they want to commit to football by taking this route. So they're showing that they want that professional level. They're showing that this is their dream, and I'm happy that we're able to provide it for them.
All right. All right. So my last question, why Koponan ng Masa? That's my last question.
Choi, you want to hop in here?
Yep.
Yes, yeah, Brian, good morning. So koponan ng masa, no, of course, aligned sa, well, sorry, I'll speak in Filipino, no. So bakit koponan ng masa? Aligned sa vision ng Maharlika FC. Na-mention na rin ni Anton kanina, no, na yung gusto talaga namin is we really want to reach out to the masses. No, we want to make football as a sport sustainable. No, we don't want it to be a roller coaster ride na in the next 2 years it's popular hype and then mawawala yung hype. No, so we want to create sustainable communities. We want to reach out to these communities, make them passionate, no, maging passionate sila sa laro. Isipin nila na pwede sila mag-excel, pwede sila maging professional sa football. Isipin nila na merong opportunity sa sport na ito. Ang football hindi lang nila nalalaro sa mga eskwelahan na merong mga football field, no. Sa totoo lang, no, pag pumunta tayo sa mga ibang bansa, South America, across Europe, ang football, as long as meron kang bola at meron kang maliit na space, pwede mong laruin. So gusto natin ibuo yung ganong mentality, yung ganong pag-iisip tungkol sa football, tungkol sa larong football, no. Maraming variations ng football, merong 11 aside, yung nilalaro sa malaking pitch. Meron din yung futsal na pwedeng laruin sa size ng ng basketball court, no. Yung iba nga sa garahe lang, no. Yung goal, pintura lang sa dingding. So, koponan ng masa, yun yung gusto namin gawin, no. Gusto namin maging involved yung mga manonood, no. Whether naglalaro ka ng football o hindi, whether nanay ka o tatay ka, kapatid ka ng isang bata na naglalaro ng football, gusto namin kasali sila dito, kasama namin sila. Actually, yung isa naming programa ngayon sa Maharlika FC, meron kaming open tryouts, no? Meron kaming slots. So kanina na-mention ni Anton, meron kaming ex-ASCAs, meron kaming professionals, and merong mga youth. And then meron din kaming slots na open for tryout. So MWF, meron kaming Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 4 p.m. Meron kaming Zoom sessions, open yan. And dun yung initial assessment, analyzation ng mga open slots, no? So tinitingnan namin kung sino yung mga pwedeng maging kasama namin sa team. So yung sa program na yan, ine-engage na namin yung mga tao na, guys, kung gusto mo maglaro ng football at a professional level, gusto mong matuto sa mga senior players katulad nila Bahaduran, nila Misag, may opportunity dito, nandito kami. So, yan ang koponan ng masa. Gusto namin, hindi lang kami to, gusto namin i-engage yung mga communities. Gusto namin na magkaroon ng awakening, mamulat yung mga tao na yung football ay para sa lahat, pwedeng laruin ng kahit sino. No, of course, hindi lang naman Maharlika FC yung pinag-uusapan dito, no. Tatulong din natin dito yung mga ibang clubs, yung mga ibang football teams sa iba-ibang schools, yung mga ibang academies. So, katulad ng sinasabi natin, no, and of course, nandiyan yung PFF, PFL, working hand in hand, and the other football federations all over the Philippines. So, gusto natin maging unified. at magtulungan tayo to uplift the sport. Yeah. And
Can I,
to top it off, Brian, we're also always promoting the 12th man. No? So yung 12th man na yan, kasi kung mapapansin mo sa football, 11 aside lang, no? So sa isang team, 11 lang yung naglalaro. And ang tinatawag natin na 12th man is the fans. No? So we're always pushing for that. So that's koponan ng masa. All right.
can I hop in for a couple things? Well, when it comes down to it, looking at it in three ways. Okay, first, providing the people the opportunity to be an influence on our club. So when it comes down to how we operate the club and how we run the club, especially marketing wise and social media wise, we make sure to ask the public different questions on what they believe in, on what they think, who they think we should sign. We actually listened to some of them. A couple of them posted about Wako Kanyas, and I was able to get on the phone and get Wako onto the team. When it comes down to it, we do want to listen to our 12th man. We want to listen to the people because they're the ones who make our heart beat. So it comes down to opportunity, giving the opportunity to everybody. Then unity, uniting the opportunity between all of the people, and then we build our community. So opportunity, unity, community.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm good.
Okay, thank you very much, Brian. Actually, if looking at the comments of the fans, they want Lionel Messi to sign up with Maharlika. So,
Hey, we tried. We just couldn't get in touch with his agent.
anyway, next question is from Ivan Saldeno from Philippine News Agency and Dugout Philippines. Ivan, it's your turn.
Yes, good. Take care, Ernest. Good morning, Anton. Good morning, Toy. Good morning, Roxy. So my first question is for Anton because you already mentioned that you have Misal, you have David Basa, you have Jerry Barbaso, you have Simon Gates in the lineup. Basically, these are players that are already kind of past their primes already. So how do you think these veterans will fare against the likes of the ADT? I believe Stallion Laguna's also been its young core, Cortaya has its own young core, United City also has its own young core. So how do you think these veterans will fare against the younger guys?
The best thing, experience. Experience wins games. Putting all of us together. First thing I thought about, it wasn't about just experienced players because we could go out and we could go look for people like Freddie Gonzalez, Alvin Acampo, and stuff like that if we wanted experience, right? But these guys can still play. They still have a motor on them. They still have their physical aspect to them, and they all still have the fight. And that's one of the main things. Stepping on the field with each and every one of these players at least once before, I know where their heart's at, and I know how they are on the field and their personalities. And if they were put on the field, I know that they would give 100%. And if we were able to get 100% from each one of these players, we could end up winning the league. I'll say it, if we get 100% from all of these guys, under Coach Roxy, he's smart. He knows the players. I'm sure he has a formula of how he wants us to play. So if we come out there playing the right way, playing together, playing hard, I really think we could come out and give the likes of teams like UCFC a good run.
All right. So with that said, despite having basically a bunch of reliance full of veterans, what are you envisioning in this team?
Excuse me?
What are you envisioning in this squad, in this club, considering you have a bunch of veterans?
Oh, I mean, this is why I was very, I was very shocked, to be honest, that all of these guys had committed. When we were able to get them all on a Zoom call, and we had the likes of, even people like Chris Greatwich were in there thinking about putting their boots back on, you know? So when I was able to get them all on that call and see that they all definitely were interested in playing, you know, it showed that we all had the same vision. You know, they knew that money wasn't coming out there, so they weren't in it for the money. Everybody's vision here is for the success of the sport. Okay, we all want the sport to grow. We all know the sport could grow, and that's what we're here for. What comes with it afterwards comes with it afterwards. But we're here. Number one is for the sport. Okay. Of course, with Maharlika FC being the backbone to give them the opportunity and the platform to play and sort of grow the sport. So I think when it comes down to the vision of all of the players, I believe that's number one, is to make sure that football keeps going, that football keeps growing, football stays sustainable, and that we will be able to come onto the field and work together once again to be able to show that we can still play. You know, like I said, everybody has their own reasons to be out there. You know, if it's one of the things that I want to actually sit down with all of the players and talk about. You know, is actually sit down and ask them why are you guys here? You know, because there's always, everybody's going to give that reason. Oh, to play the sport we love, to get out on the field again, because we've been in COVID for so long. But, you know, there's a lot more reason to why these players are here. And whether it's just for the opportunity to be able to compete again, whether it's being able to play at the professional level, whether it's, you know, to get out of where they're from, to prove that they can do it, to represent. You know, we have a couple players from Tondo FC, so maybe for them it's to represent Tondo. You know, so these are the things that I believe a lot of the players are out here for. They have their own personal reasons, and they want to get out there and they want to prove themselves. And that's why I said it's very nice to have players with a chip on their shoulder to be able to come out and be able to compete, you know. So, yep.
All right, so let's move to Coach Roxy. Yeah, how's it like coaching your contemporaries? I believe you still played alongside Eddie with Loyola. So how's it like now you're coaching your contemporaries like Waco, like Eddie, like?
Well, Ivan, just to share with you as well. So back in 2017, 2018, I was under Coach Aris, as he was the head coach of Meralco Manila back then. But we all know what happened, and he's been my mentor for a very long time. And even before I committed myself with to be under his staff, I actually raised that question already to him. My concern about, of course, coming from teammate being their coach, and it was a challenge. It was definitely a challenge. But I think that one thing that what was important to me is that I can relate to the players. They can approach me. I'm open-minded, so I have this relationship with the players. So we actually have a very good understanding on what we want to achieve. The players, they can easily message me, call me if they have any questions, any concerns. Actually, before I met with all the players, we did a virtual meeting, so I was able to talk to all the players already. And like Anton mentioned a while ago, their reason for committing to the team, you can actually hear their side. Okay, so aside from the passion and love for the sport, you can really hear that they all have their own reasons on committing themselves for Maharlika FC. Now, we had our first session, like I mentioned a while ago, yesterday, and the session went very, very well. It was good to be back on the pitch again. You can see that they're professional. Okay, so even though that I'm pretty much the same age as some of those players. They understand that my role in the team is different right now. I'm not that player anymore. Okay, so they respect me as the coach. They're very professional, and I think that with the very short time that we have right now, okay, it's a matter of getting the best out of the players. So it's constant communication right now. So constantly talking with all the players, which will get the best out of the players.
Now let's go to Sir Choi, because I'm noticing your crest, the shield, the blue, black, and pink color. So what's with this? Why did you decide to put this kind of crest?
Yeah, it's for me, no, Ivan.
Yes. So what's
Yeah,
with why did you
Ivan.
decide to have
So
this design for the crest, like the shield, the
yeah,
black, blue, and pink colors?
yeah, okay. So so essentially Maharlika is a warrior, warrior clan. So that's why we have that the shield, we have the sword there, and then the colors blue and pink. It's our a modern take on the colors of the Philippine flag. So we have the blue, we have the pink and the white, and then we just want to make it look strong and solid. So we have this black background. Of course, the Philippine flag, you have meron tayong yellow, di ba? We have the color yellow or gold. So we don't see it reflected there. But when you wear the jersey, the Maharlika FC jersey, you have that badge on your chest, kung nasa yung puso mo, no? So the gold is in the heart of each and every one of the players. So that's our take on the design of the. If you also notice, there's the color blue is it's a tribal pattern. So so we've had revisions. We try to make sure that it would look timeless as well. Yeah.
So why pink instead of red? Because the Philippine flag is blue, red, white, and yellow. Why pink instead of red?
Okay, it's our modern take of the Philippine flag colors. So yung Philippine flag natin, red and blue, di ba? So
Yes.
we just wanted it to look a bit modern. So naging parang neon pink and neon blue siya.
It's better for the woman. We got a bunch of we have a bunch of pretty faces on the team, so we want to make sure that we be able to fit some pink in there for the ladies,
Okay, thank you very much. Very, very interesting choice.
Hey, I'm telling you, if you look at our team, I'm sorry. I mean, when it comes down to it, I'm looking at our team, and we got some pretty faces on our team, from the likes of Dan Matsunaga to Misa to some of the players you guys don't even know yet. Will be they're heartbreakers, man. And the best thing about it is that they're good at football as well. So I really think that we have something special for our team.
Okay, thank you very much, Anton. There are some questions here from the media as well. We call on Paulo Del Rosario of ESPN and One Sports. Paulo, you're on.
Hey, Anton. Hey, everyone. Media colleagues, hope you're all staying healthy and at home. Well, as much as we can. Anton, first of all, I'm waiting for you to offer me a contract because since good looks are part of the criteria. I'm just kidding. But Anton, obviously, seriously, a lot of people would be asking about your policy of not paying the players initially, especially since you want this to be a club that lasts long. And you had the long-term view in mind. I was wondering whether or not this is just a temporary feature, considering the pandemic, considering it's your first season, and the team was put up very quickly. Will we see Maharlika start to compensate players in following seasons? And also, is the club a professional team, or is it considered as amateur? Because if I'm not mistaken, GAB has a minimum of how much you actually have to pay players to play in a pro team.
Yes, by all means. When it comes down to it, the future, we're definitely going to be looking to pay players. We want to, we started this club, but like we said, we had to start this club properly, which is being sustainable. Had we come out, offered salaries to players from the get-go, then our club would not have been sustainable because, the cost to run an actual club run up into the millions. And, realistically, I don't have the millions to be able to throw to these people for the sport. But what I do have, I have the ability to make something like this happen. When it comes down to sustainability, very important because we want to make sure that the club is continuing, right? In order for the club to continue, we have to work within our means. So should we get sponsors on board? 100%. We'll start paying salaries to, from coaching staff to players. Then management would probably get the last end of the stick, right? But when it comes down to it, we want to be there. When it comes down to what you said about Gab and having to play the players and compensation, yes, that's why we included in our contracts that we are paying, it doesn't matter what the amount is, but we are paying some players. And we really do. We want to get to that point where we'll be able to get sponsors to be able to compensate players. But to get to that point, unless you're a Kaya who has an LBC, unless you were a Ceres who had, unless you were Ceres who had the funds to be able to do stuff like that, it's very hard, And like I said, we have to be realistic with the sport, okay? Realistic with the sport by saying, hey, break it down to what it was before, Look how the beginning of the UFL was, where I understand, hey, people want to make a living off of this and stuff, but if you want to make a living, you got to prove yourself. And that's why all of these players at the other clubs, well, the top clubs now, like Kaya and UCFC, that's why all of the more competitive and the players who have been in shape, that's where you will find them, right? But they're going to need to be clubs like us. In order to keep the sport growing, they need us to be around to be able to make sure that we have enough competition there. And we want to make sure that this keeps on happening. So with us not paying players, it's a temporary thing until we get to that point where we've created enough fan base, we've created enough support for the sponsors to find us attractive enough to support. And once the sponsors find us attractive enough to support, then that's when we'll be able to turn around and we'll be able to share what people are coming to us with the rest of the players, teams, and staff. Okay.
Thank you, Anton. Sir Choi, yung tanong ko naman, looking at the future, so na-mention nga ni Anton about how not paying players, at least as a good compensation is only a temporary thing. Yung tanong ko po kung may roadmap na po ba yung Maharlika in terms of short-term and long-term goals, if you could line that up for us para may idea naman kami kung paano yung plano ng management.
Yeah, for the next 6 months, so in essence for this season, this PFL season, the goal is to be to last the next 6 months. So we're working to get partners, sponsors to help out the team, and then of course us getting the license, there are compliances. We're working on the development programs, yung mga youth programs. All of those things we're working on those. Of course, the team doesn't stop with joining PFL. I mean, the club doesn't just stop with just joining PFL. Again, part of what we're doing is build communities. So we have outside of the youth programs that we're working on, we also want to reach out to different communities and help them out in terms of making them understand the sport. Kasama yon, So in essence, kung ano yung nakikita mo right now from other clubs, no, established clubs, we're working to attain those. It's part of what we need to work on to make sure that our license is secured. Kasi provisional license lang at the moment. And on top of that, outside of that, we're reaching out to different communities as well. No, so right now we're talking to city to be our affiliated city, our home city. So kasama yon, and we will build football programs kasama rin sila. And again, I'll go back to the 12th man, no? Yung sinasabi namin na 12th man. The 12th man, it's not limited to Metro Manila, no? We want to grow the sport. We want to make the club popular, the biggest club in the Philippines. And so all of these things, if you connect the dots, we have a 3-year program, 5-year program in place. Of course, all of which are a work in progress. No, we just started a month ago, and yesterday we just it's our first training session. So buti nakaabot kami doon, and there are a lot of things that we're working on, but it definitely doesn't stop with the PFL. Yung long term about the club, we want, katulad ni Anton, in terms of compensation, we want to pay the players, we want to pay the staff. We want to be a champion team, and we also want to compete outside of the Philippines. So there are different verticals that we're juggling, we're working on. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. This one naman's for Roxy before I throw a last one to Anton. Coach, long-time fan, first-time interviewer. Looking at the team that you've assembled here, especially you have more veteran players and the younger players as well. Alam ko naman that the identity of the team is not there yet. Alam ko naman that you're going to discover what this team is as time goes by as well. But considering that you have a lot of youth players also, and there are plans for further youth development, how interested are you in personally making sure that the pipeline in terms of youth players that I know Anton has already sort of in place, especially these connections with the youth teams, Sevens Football League, and also the GOM guys that are coming in. Can you explain a bit about siguro yung policy mo in bringing in the younger players?
Okay, so yes, of course, Paolo. So you may know already. So I've been involved with national teams for the past 2 years already. So working with the under 15s, under 16s, and also involved with the under 19s of the Philippines. So I've had a lot of exposure already when it comes to all the best youth players out there in the Philippines. Again, so right now, it's just very important that the youth players that we have right now, they have to be learning from the experienced players that we have on the roster right now. So I think it's very clear to them as well that playing time might be affected. Okay, but if I can give that opportunity for them to be playing, I'll give them that opportunity. It's always going to be the best player playing. So that was made clear to me when I was able to talk to them. Of course, moving forward, I think that with the senior players that we have, the experienced players that we have right now, I'm not sure how many more years they'll be able to continue playing at that competitive level. Okay, but as much as possible, we want to keep them on board as long as they can compete. But yes, definitely we have to start looking at as the youth players right now, if they want to consider going collegiate football or if they want to take this next step going into club football. And as Anton mentioned already, we're very open to give that opportunity to those kind of players really have that direction on playing at the highest level. Okay, so I'm very open. I'm very supportive when it comes to that. But then I'll make it clear to the players that we want to have you long term. Okay, you mentioned the club identity. Okay, so right now it's gonna be based on the players that we have on the roster. Okay, so the ability of the players, the preparation time that we have before we have our first game. So that's how we will be coming up with our identity, or at least on how we're going to be playing for the first for this season. Okay, but I think that for looking long term, okay, if we can establish yourself and get our playing style, and we can start looking on with what kind of players we're looking for to join the club.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we lost Pao a bit there. But we will get back to him now once he comes back in the room. But anyway, we have more questions here. We have Pauline Versosa of CNN Philippines. Pauline, good morning.
Hi, good morning. So my question is for Anton. What are the plans of the team in terms of like sustaining the youth players since from what I understand they also agreed to not receive any compensation, and the other players, of course, the veterans, they can sustain themselves for sure, but what about the youth players?
Hi, Pauline. Thank you for that. Well, I mean, of course, the youth players are still living underneath their house with their family and their parents, which is very nice to see because the parents are actually quite active. They're very communicative. They're very nice and they're very appreciative of the opportunity, right? So it's very nice to see that because it shows that it shows that I guess these players, they're taking the risk, I guess, with us. One of the write-ups from, I guess, the first youth player we announced is that he said it was the biggest decision he's ever made in his life. 16 years old, biggest decision. And that puts a lot of pressure on us as a club, and thanks to the likes of Choi, we came through and we were able to get that license, provisionary license, to be able to allow these kids to fulfill one of their main dreams, right? Because these kids, I can think back when I was a kid. When I was their age, I remember a conversation I had. I just got into Southridge. One of the counselors had pulled me aside and asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I told him, I want to go to college on a full scholarship and I want to be a professional footballer. That was a dream. And I'm happy because we get to offer this dream to the kids. And it's something that the teams have not done before. And I really don't understand why. Because when you go across the world, you will have 16-year-olds playing in leagues, And to be able to see that and to be able to know that we're sort of pioneering that with our youth national team coach shows that we're not just looking for the now. We are looking towards the future because we want to take on these young kids because we feel that they're going to fill the shoes of this old man over here together with the rest of the older guys, And we want to give them the experience at a much younger age because I also believe that these kids will wear Maharlika, the badge, with pride. And should they start sharing that with their peers, then we're doing our job in building our community, in growing the sport, and inspiring the youth. So it's very. I feel it's a privilege to us to be able to take on the youth.
Okay, so was there like a disclaimer for those youth players or the ones you'll be recruiting in the future that so for now you'll have to shoulder your expenses in the meantime?
Yes.
There's a disclaimer to that.
Yes. I mean, we provide all the necessities that the players will need to play football, from kits to uniforms to water to everything, all of that stuff. Everything will be provided. It's just the things off field. They got to make sure that they are able to take care of, and we know that with their families, and we've spoken with their parents, that they're doing the right things to be able to do so.
Okay. So my next question is, with the PFL already eyeing to restart the season, maybe in October, some teams are already, training right now. Are you guys training? I mean, what's the plan if it will start next month already?
Well, I mean, probably, well, yes, we are training. We started training, about a month ago, right, Choi? So we've been training, yeah, we've been training via Zoom sessions as a team, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. We actually, one of our programs to engage with our supporters is that we do open Zoom sessions. So anybody can come join our Zoom training sessions. We have the likes of 10-year-olds coming in and joining us players on our Zoom session. We have ladies coming in joining our Zoom sessions. So we really want to be engaged with our community, and I believe this is one of our ways to do so. And seeing that we had our first on-ground session yesterday, it was wow. It was a great feeling, gave me chills when pulling up to the field. So yeah, so now we'll be training on ground since we got the green light from PFL. And so we'll be doing that 2 times a week while we consistently do our Zoom sessions 3 times a week.
Okay. So how do you think you'll be competitive since this is a new team and you only have like maybe 3 weeks left or maybe a month?
Well, I mean, the people that I reached out to, like I said before, they're competitors, they're winners, and they were top players, and I'm sure if we get them back to their shape and physicality, they can be top players once again. So I think we will be actually quite competitive when it comes down to the PFL.
Okay, those are all my questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Pauline.
Thank you, Pauline. And just imagine Anton in the pitching room with Lionel Messi asking him to play for 1 peso per game. Yeah, we're gonna be convincing him to do that. But anyway, we have Ian Suyu from Daily Tribune. Ian, you're up.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So my question is, having these goals set for the team, how are you looking forward to immediately make an impact as one of the powerhouses for this upcoming season?
Roxy, did you want to take this one, Joy?
Yeah, sure. So Ian, right now it's like Anton mentioned a while ago. So it's been regular training every MWF, online through the Zoom sessions. So we recently started our first outfield session. Not all the plays were there. Okay, as there's another batch still have to take the swab test, so we can expect them also to be involved starting next week probably. And no, but I think one thing that we have to consider is that everyone is starting from scratch. So it's not just us, Maharlika FC, who haven't done their preparation. It's every other team. They have not been on the field since for 5-6 months. Same with all the other teams. So it's pretty even. It's equal. Okay, so I think one of our strengths right now is that all the players right now they really want to prove themselves. They have a reason why they want to get back on the field and compete at the highest level of Philippine football. Now, one thing that we have to manage is because of the very short preparation time, is making sure that we all have the same idea. We have to make sure that the players understand on how we want to be playing. So we have to be very organized. So that's one of my main focus for at least for this upcoming few weeks. At the same time, fitness. So definitely that would be a challenge as well. But we can see that the players are very active doing their individual programs on their own. Okay, just like I mentioned a while ago, they're professionals, so they know the importance on doing their individual program as well. I don't think any of the players they want to get back on the pitch, seeing that they won't be able to last the 45 minutes only. Okay, so I'm sure that um, right now their mindset is really to push themselves very hard, um, just to make sure that they're physically and mentally prepared. So then everything else is coming from our end. I mean, the coaching staff. I'm very happy with the staff right now. So together with me is Coach Kip Salangit. So he's been my classmates for the past courses, experience as well when it comes to the youth coaching. Um, he's also involved when it comes to collegiate football. Um, Also, Coach Jos Villarino has been my teammate before with San Beda. Played also for the national team. So also did his courses. So I'm very confident in my staff right now, and I know that we can get the best out of the players that we have right now to make sure that we're competitive when it comes to this season.
Mhm. Thank you very much. That would be my question.
Thank you, Ian.
Okay, thank you very much, Ian. And we will try to read some private messages here. No? Uh, yung iba kasi hindi makapag-on ng camera nila and may mga problema yung mic. We have a question here from a good friend of ours, Jamer De La Cruz, ang tito mong football blogger and Huddle PH. And his question is, under the AFC licensing requirements, a club must have a youth development program. How were you able to go around this requirement to join the PFL? And if ever you make it to the AFCCL or Cup, how are you going to take care of this matter? Anyone could answer that? Uh,
Okay.
Choi?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Joy, did you
Go
want
ahead.
to step in?
Okay, so yeah, the license that we have right now is a provisional license, no. So it's not 100%. There are things that we need to work on, including that development program. So there's a deadline set for us to be able to submit the program to PFF. So there. So we have a license. It's a provisional license, and then there are items that we need to work on and submit um, to PFF to make sure that we can continue and for us to be able to secure the license for the club. Yeah. Go ahead, Anton.
And then when you talk about the youth side of things, it's very good that you brought this up because whatever city, I don't want to announce any city just yet. We're actually very close to affiliating ourselves with the city, but whatever city that we do affiliate ourselves with, I want to make sure that our club creates something for that community to be able to have a proper youth program and structure going on within the city. And that's definitely going to be one of our main goals as a club. You know, like we said, we focus on sustainability. Sustainability, it then comes with the youth. Okay, so youth development is very much in line with what we're going to be doing in the future.
Okay, thank you very much, Anton. And another question here is from Eric Navarro of Remate. Since football is not that popular in the Philippines nowadays, in your part, please tell us what you are doing to make it known to Filipinos that football is an exciting game for them to play and watch.
Well, I mean, popularity of a sport doesn't necessarily come overnight unless you go to Vietnam and win a 2-0 game in the Suzuki Cup, right? Things like that, it takes a while to build, especially when all eyes here in this country are mainly focused on basketball. So that's our job. Our job is to be able to reach out to the people and to build a support group and a fan base and to sort of collect the whole football community. I had a talk with some people before talking about what are the main things that need to be done for football to grow here in the country. And I believe one of the main things that need to be done is bringing everyone together, bringing all footballers, whether they're players, whether they're fans, together to speak the voice of football. Not many people know that popularity of football outside of Manila is very strong. If you go to the provinces, the likes of Negros, where you're in Iloilo, San Carlos, Bacolod, football is crazy over there. I went to Cebu. Cebu, they had the largest attendance for the PFL when Global was over there. Davao was getting 1,000 plus fans a game over there. So if you actually take football outside of Manila, it is huge. But the problem is everybody is working very separately. If we were able to bring all of it together, then the voice of football out here in the country can be so much bigger. And I believe that's what we're aiming to do. By Maharlika FC creating our 12th man, we're really trying to engage with our supporters, with the fans of football, and from then, hopefully, our fan base grows, and hopefully, the likes of other teams can do the same. So hopefully, people like Kaya, who have a great support group with the Kaya Ultras, and they have great history, they can reach out to their community a lot more and have them speak much more for football here in the country. So it's really one of the things that we want to focus on, but we can only focus on Maharlika FC. I think it's up to the bigger people like PFF and the likes of the marketing group of the PFL to be able to create, a larger support group for football here in the country. We play a role, but they're the ones who have the capability and I guess the money to be able to do so.
Okay, thank you very much, Anton, for that. And we have our social media questions from Philippine Sports Corner editorial team. What are the future plans in store for Maharlika FC pagdating sa fan engagement? Choi, you want to take this one?
Yes, so thank you. Pagdating sa fan engagement, if you notice our social media pages, we've been reaching out to our fans. We have the 12th man. 12th man is focusing on our fans. We've reached out to different communities within Metro Manila, outside of Metro Manila. We have a program where we're inviting football players to try out for the team. That's another thing that we're working on. So we have a lot in store, but these are all progressive programs for the fans. So right now we're focusing on building our fan base, our community. So we've tapped different leaders from different football groups, and we've been reaching out to them. So essentially, yun ang plano namin, Ernest. I think yung strongest is allowing people to join us and be a part of this team by having these open tryouts. So we're essentially telling them that, guys, kung gusto niyo maging kasama ng Maharlika FC, meron kayong tsansa, merong way for you to be able to be discovered kung nasan ka man sa Pilipinas. If we see that you're fit, you're qualified, then we're here to look at you, to listen. Essentially, initially sa Zoom lang ito, pero hindi alam ng lahat na marami kasi nagme-message, Ernest, nagtatanong, coach, ganito, taga ganitong lugar ako, paano ba mag-try out? So sinasabi namin yung steps, attend the Zoom session, and may mga, since the first week, may mga nagka-try out na, may mga bago. May mga umalis tapos bumalik, and paulit-ulit lang sinasabi namin na hindi nyo siguro napapansin, no? Pero binabantayan namin kayo, tinitingnan namin kayo, yung commitment ninyo sa sport, yung passion. Kasi we have 30 slots, and all of these slots kailangan paglabanan, kailangan i-prove nila na deserving sila to get that slot. So that's one program that we have, no? So we're engaging fans. And katulad nga ng sinabi ni Anton, we have that health map. Kasama yan sa ginagawa namin to engage and build the community, the fan base. Ernest. Nakamute ka, Ernest.
Yun nga eh. But anyway, another question here is from Mike Morillo of Business World. Informing the team, what were the top of mind considerations you had? Maybe on an administrative side first, then maybe on the side of the coach. Joy or Anton?
Well, when it comes down to it, to build a team, right? You need to know what are the things you need, right? First thing you need is players. Next thing is a coach. Next thing is a field to train on. Then you have to worry about all the essentials that players need, of course. Lucky enough, I've been in a professional atmosphere the last 10 years, and I've been able to sort of understand the in and outs of what it takes to be able to run a team. And with that, all you got to do is sort of break it down, knock out the main things that you need, and then work with the little things in between, right? So once we were able to, I guess, secure our the players and then secure the coach, of course, the license was the most important when it came from Choi. And once we got that, then everything else just fell into place. So the process, it wasn't the easiest. We had a lot of digging to do. We had to do a lot of things when it came down to setting up everything, but we got it done. Big shout out to Choi there. Choi had the pressure on him, and he came through, and he got us that license. So we were able to just make everything fall in place right afterwards. We had it all set up. It was just waiting on this provisionary license, and we were able to put everything in place after.
Okay, thank you so much. Anyway, we have more questions from the media. Maybe we can ask yung mga hindi pa nagtatanong. Sir Aaron Bayato, are you there? Gusto mong magtanong? Or Sir Peter Atencio? Hello? Or I'll go to Sir Peter. You want to ask a question?
I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sir Peter. May question pa daw dito si Ivan Saldaheno from Philippine News Agency and Dugout Philippines.
Right. I don't know who's anyone can answer this, but you signed Manu Mayano and I believe Julian Del Valle, and with United City already signing Pocholo Bugas. Do you think this will spark a revolution of seeing youth players skipping? I don't know what that's right, but you see a revolution of young players, youth players, going professional instead of going for college?
Interesting question there, Ivan. Anton, you want to take that? How about students going pro?
So in essence, you're saying, do we see that this will create a sort of an influence to other youth? Ivan, that's the goal. That is the goal. This is something that we want to do. Like I said, we are pioneers of taking on the youth to be able to play professionally, and we really hope that other teams start doing this as well. If the other teams don't, then we gladly keep on doing it, because I really feel that the youth, I mean, when it comes down to it, they are the future. They're the future. And knowing that the youth these days, their training is much different from the training that we got back in the day. You know, we have people like Roxy who's coming out and coaching these kids. People like Chris Greatwich, people like Simon Greatwich. All of these guys have now opened their own academies. So you could only imagine the skill and the talent that will be coming out of these academies. And if we're the first ones to grab the cream of the crop, then that makes it much better for Maharlika FC. So as much as I'd like to say, I hope the other teams don't take on what we're doing because we want to have the cream of the crop for the youth in the future. I don't want to say that. I want to say I hope they do start taking it on because then it helps football here grow. It helps inspire the kids to know that, hey, there is a future in football. You know, I wanted to share this earlier. The other day, I just happened to get a message on Facebook, right, from a player once we announced that we had open tryouts. And I guess this guy plays in the Sevens Football League, he says. But he told me his story. And his story was, you know, growing up, he always wanted to be a pro football player, but it got to a point where everybody around him was telling him that football can only take him so far, to go focus on your studies, to do something else. And he ended up listening to these people. And it took away the dream that he could have had because he wasn't able to keep on playing football. He had to go into the corporate world. And this is the story of a lot of footballers and a lot of talent that's grown up here in the Philippines. We want to sort of take that away and we want to show that there is a future in football, okay? Support your child's dream, okay? Because here we have created a pathway from the youth to the professional level. And we're here to be able to support that. So we want to be known as a club who will support youth, okay? And we really hope that it does open the eyes of many other youth players here in the country.
Wait, so assuming this will go full blown, how do you think will this potential decision of youth players turning pro instead affect the NCAA and the UAP, especially that these are the most prestigious collegiate leagues?
I actually think it'll make it that much better. I think taking on the youth and giving them professional contracts now makes it much competitive at that level. I think it'll make other kids want to be like the ones who are signing these professional contracts. I think the kids who are on the cusp of getting to the next level will push that much harder to get to the next level. If that happens, then you imagine the talent that will be coming through the UAAP and the NCAA. You know, you think about it in the whole process. You know, if we start influencing the 16-year-olds and the other 16-year-olds start influencing their peers, then the talent level can only get much better. And that's what our vision is. That's what our hope is by taking on these youth players. We hope that it's not coming from us, but it's coming from their peers that then inspire the others. And that's really what we want.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Ivan. A question here from the social media. Any chance of Maharlika FC maybe representing a city in Mindanao?
Oh man, as much as you know, well, when it comes down to it, I don't want to say, you know, representing this, representing that yet until anything's sure. But we have been in talks with a couple of them. We're waiting to hear back from one, hopefully by end of the week. and then we'll be looking to announce then. Will it be in Mindanao? I can't tell you anything just yet, because we definitely want to keep this on the hush and keep our fingers crossed that everything pushes through. So when it comes down to it, if it's not Maharlika FC, we do hope another club ends up taking and supporting the city.
Okay, thank you, Anton. For Coach Roxy, this is my personal question for you. Coach, seeing, of course, you got a first hand to see the roster of the players, and having these kind of players in your hands, how do you see the teams running in the PFL? Are you going to be defensive? Are you going to be aggressive? Are we going to be playing it safe? What kind of team do you envision with the current roster that you have?
Okay, thank you for that question, Ernest. So, well, I mean, maybe just a quick background on where I was coming from as well. So, born and raised in the Netherlands. So, I strongly believe in total football. Okay, so developing the complete player. Of course, I have to manage the team with the players' ability that we have right now. Okay, so you still see pieces of what I want to, what I personally want them to be playing, but we have to be realistic, Ernest. To be honest, for us to get the results, okay, we just have to make sure that we plan per game, okay, taking each game differently, of course. Just like I mentioned a while ago, priority would still be fitness. Um, with the very short preparation time that we have. What I can share is that as much as possible, I do want to do a possession-based football. Okay, so I do strongly believe in making sure that the players can keep the ball, but we will be a bit more direct. Okay, so a more direct approach. But for me, being organized definitely priority right now.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach. And any hint how many minutes Anton will play per game?
I haven't seen him on the pitch yet. Okay, but I want to keep him as long as possible. So Anton, it's really up to you.
He's trying to keep in shape, putting all those pictures in social media. So
Making me nervous.
anyway,
Sorry, a bit of pressure on you, Anton. Sorry.
anyway, thank you very much for our media friends who are here right now. And again, for now, we will be sending the audio of this recording to all of you guys. And Anton, maybe have like final words, final statements from everyone. Now let's start with Coach Roxy.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to thank everyone uh, for being here and for supporting Maharlika FC. Um, of course, it's a new club, but I believe that our vision is really to reach out to the Tuba community. Okay, so I'm very happy that through this session we were able to reach out. Okay, so I'm very thankful for this opportunity.
Joy,
Okay.
go ahead.
Thanks, Coach Roxy. So again, thank you everyone for joining us in this conference. So I just want to let everyone know that the Maharlika FC believes in the future of the sport, believes in the community, in the youth, in creating opportunities. Uh, please support Maharlika FC. We need all the support that we can get. Please support football. Thank you very much, Ernest.
And finally, Anton, the founder of Maharlika FC. Final statement, sir.
First, I want to say thank you, Ernest, for putting all of this together. Secondly, I want to say thank you all to each and every single one of you that are here, taking the time out to listen to us, to interview us, to hear about Maharlika FC. Every single one of you guys who are here, you guys help us. You guys help the sport so much, and I really appreciate all the support that you've actually not only given the sport, but also given me. It means a lot. Second, Maharlika FC. We're a team that's out here to look towards the future, okay? We want to create a bright future for football here in the country, and we believe we have a good way of doing it. We want to be able to inspire and motivate and build a community of football supporters and football fans to get behind our team and to help the sport grow. So when it comes down to it, three big things that we're very focused on. Number one is opportunity. Definitely want to keep on giving the opportunity to anybody. So if you guys have always wanted to try and play at the professional level, reach out to us. You'll never know until you try. Okay. Unity, very important to us, because unity on and off the field is what we want to achieve. We want to be able to be successful on the field, working all together, but we also want to be successful off the field, showing the people that we are the team of the masses, and showing them that we do want to hear them. We do want to hear their opinions. We want to hear their thoughts. We want to hear their recommendations. So should you guys have any thoughts, recommendations, ideas, please reach out to us. I know there are a lot of you out there who have already reached out, a lot of you who are also willing to help, and we very much thank you for that. And lastly, community. We want to make sure that we constantly grow our community for Maharlika FC mainly, but also for football in general. So coming to it, we thank you all very much. We really hope that you can support Maharlika FC. And how's it go? Our hashtag, Sugod Maharlika. Yeah. And then please check us out at Maharlika FC on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Thank you very much, Ernest, and the rest of you guys. Coach Rocks, enjoy.
Okay, thank you very much, media friends, for coming. And again, we end this formally, this Maharlika FC Meet the Press program. And for those who are just new to this channel, we will have more press conferences